I got beer in my boots, dirt on my truck, corn on my mind, and a gun up my butt. It's a small town. At least there's dirt, at least there's beer and trucks and shirts.
Howdy there. You've been on the internet all day and you come across the Death of Fun podcast. Join me, Matt McKinley, and my buddies Aaron, Rob, and Tim as we bring you the latest in current events, sports, and a whole bunch of inappropriate jokes that we used to tell to each other back when we were roommates in college. And the world wasn't so lame. So kick back, crack a beer, and join us for a few laps. Unless you're gay. And even if you are, join us anyways. Welcome to the Death of Fun. Do you feel the peace? Do you feel the peace in the air?
I can. You know what? Rob has never been safer in his life.
Never been safer. Congratulations, world. It's time for peace. I actually reposted that. That was a Truth Social post from President Donald J. Trump this weekend, and while there's a lot of unknowns,
I've
unknowns.
said this before. It is. I thought when we got to this age of information, like you can see it coming with the internet, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like you would know things immediately. I feel like we know less in this time of age of just instant news.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the fake news coming. I don't know why. Probably because I was an idiot, you know, young dude. But like it's amazing. I have no idea what's going on. That our history degrees are worthless because of the internet.
It's crazy. It's been a wild couple of days. So much so that all the anti-ICE No Kings protests or whatever that they had going on, like nobody gives a baker's fuck. Yeah, so Israel kicked off hard against Iran. Sounds like they kind of pushed their shit in.
You noticed
a long ways.
You noticed though when we were asking where Rob was, and
he
then
did
the shit
not
pops
answer.
Off. No,
he did not answer.
That was
operational security.
Was that 10
guessing.
days ago we were asking him that?
Roughly. A couple days into the 12-day war, as Trump calls it.
Maybe Rob's he's playing us for suckers. He comes off as a major hater of Trump, but is he behind the scenes just like, you know, making the U.S. help him out?
He was the Jew that got bitched out by Trump, and
Wait,
he
what?
was. Yeah, well, that's who Trump was talking about when. Well, I'll put it up.
Okay. After this, can you put up the JD Vance talking about Trump with the red button? Like, that's some shit we would do too.
Oh, I know it. All right.
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel.
The biggest load.
When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them.
Isn't that what they do in ceasefires?
Either.
Yeah, typically.
I mean, that's typical. Not on Papa Trump's watch, though.
Well, you know, it's been a while since anybody's actually ended a war in the world. So people are a little rusty on how it goes down.
They haven't had a real winner since 1945.
It feels like my softball team last night, where I haven't played slow pitch softball in 8 years, I guess. And
How'd your night go hitting? Were you? Did you make contact? Did you get some
I
solid
went 0
contact?
for 2. I popped one up that I should have took
Matthew
deep,
McKinley.
and then I flied out to left field.
You know what?
Fouled out to left. I should say.
With all the love my boys have for their fucking cowboy hero Matt, I'm gonna tell them that tomorrow. I'm like, hey, Dad went 3 for 4 the other night and had 2 doubles. What Uncle Matt do? 0 for 2.
0
Fuck
for
you,
2.
Matt. I won one. You son of a bitch.
I hit one out in practice the other day.
Oh, practice. Are we
in the
talking
game.
about practice?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, but anyways, I haven't played in a while. Still getting my feet under me. A brand new team, most of who I don't know, and so it was kind of a clusterfuck. And this is kind of what Trump feels like right here.
But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?
And he walked away. I didn't know that was his last. That's his last line.
You know, Donald Trump's a gangster. Love him or hate him, I'm still kind of glad that guy's president while all this shit is popping off. Because say what you will, people fucking listen to him.
Yeah, and the next, pull up the JD clip.
Yeah, all right.
This is exact, like, for all the posturing that's going on, I firmly believe that these countries are scared of Trump because of the next story that we'll bring up. This is some shit we would do, man. This is some shit we would do.
Can you hear it?
No, I cannot.
Oh, damn it. All right. We'll try it again.
Okay.
Technology.
Looks over at me, puts the foreign leader on mute and says, "This is not going very well," and he presses the red button.
Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Okay.
and my eyes get really big, and I'm like, "Mr. President, you know what just happened?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Nuclear."
Nuclear.
And 2 minutes later, a guy walks in with a Diet Coke, and he looks back at me and he says, "It wasn't nuclear. It's just the Diet Coke button." And that's
Fuck, man.
So that's the kind of guy, my fellow Republicans, that we have as the president of the United States.
You know what? Say what you will about him, but I'm sorry. Like, people jump all over that, and it's like us. We joke about everything. How the fuck could you deal with all this shit without a little bit of dark humor? Just a little bit.
Do you think Clinton had the beach button on his? That was the red button on the Resolute desk. Was just the BJ button.
Dude, I want a BJ button for Father's Day. we should protest and demand. Demand it.
Demand it. We should make BJ buttons. Like, you remember it was like Staples Easy Button.
Oh, BJ button.
Sell them. That'll be the first item of merch for the Death of Fun podcast.
Okay, the BJ button, when you press it, can we have like Rob's creepy voice, like, "It's go time"?
Yes. Yes.
You know what? Maybe that's what we should send the boys. Like, look, me and you come together and we somehow figure out this BJ button, then we just send it to him. Well, knowing Rob, we'll try to keep it a secret and we'll just tell him to say that phrase and he'll refuse to fucking say it, even though he would support this plan.
Put Trump's voice on it.
Huge.
I need to come.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Did Trump fix the Middle East?
You know what? I feel like I can't pull the trigger on anything anymore. I don't know.
I don't know, but I was contemplating that the other day because unlike most of we were talking about this the other day, like the Libertarian Party's retarded. Most libertarians, I agree in principle, like with the philosophy behind libertarianism, but it seems like way more than not. It's a bunch of people like talking about what ought to be, but not addressing what is currently happening. Other than like, well, we shouldn't have done that. Well, okay, granted. But they did. So now what? And that's kind of like this whole Iran thing. I was like, I don't think we should get involved with that at all. I think that is a very precarious situation because it's not just Iran you're attacking. That's China gets like 80% of their oil from Iran or something. I don't know the exact number, but it's a sizable amount. And Iran's been supplying Russia with drones and shit for the Ukrainian war. Like it's kind of a powder keg. Didn't think we should probably do anything there, but they did. So then it's like, okay, well, fuck, shouldn't have done that, but they did. All right, now what? That seems to never be the step that like the hardcore anti-war people, the libertarians, like it's just like we shouldn't be there. Okay, but we are. We are.
It's Captain Hindsight from South Park.
Kinda.
Somebody should have extended that ladder.
Yeah. Typically, it's the libertarians like warning them along the way, like, "Hey, don't do this. Don't do this."
It's the pre Captain Hindsight.
Yeah.
Pre-ejaculate.
And nobody listens to them ever. But then it just like keeps with that. Like, shouldn't have done that. Okay, we get it. But now what? Like, we shouldn't have done that isn't the answer. It's not a solution. It's not an action. It's not even actionable. We shouldn't have done that. Like, oh, okay. Well,
so
okay.
then is Rob only a libertarian in the sense of when there's a Republican in office and he only uses it against Republicans? What would you call him? A Democrat?
I don't know, but it's like it's like the Republicans are super conservative as long as they don't happen to be in power.
We're talking about economics.
Yeah, they're super conservative until they get in power, and then they're like, oh, we'll just kind of do a light version of what the Democrats have been doing, or maybe not even so light.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Well,
if anybody has had a hard time keeping track of all this that's going on, don't feel bad. It's happened rather quickly. But Israel started bombing Iran about a couple weeks ago. Fucked them up pretty good. Took out their air force for the most part. Took out their air defense systems for the most part. Took out a lot of their missile launchers. Not all of them. Turns out Iran had some pretty badass missiles their own selves. Like they got past the Iron Dome like a pretty fair amount. Not just the Iron Dome, but like the Jordan, Saudi, us, the UK were all shooting down missiles on behalf of Israel.
Is it a flawed Iron Dome or is it a depleted Iron Dome?
I don't
That's the
know
question
that it's,
I had.
I'm not so sure that it's either. I think depleted is probably, but I don't know that the Iron Dome is so much flawed as it's just the new technology from the Iranians or different mode of attack from the Iranians, because the Iron Dome was mostly designed to stop like Hamas rockets, which are pretty low grade. Whereas
we need where's Israeli space laser?
for real, apparently they do have some sort of laser defense system, but
Are they just saving it?
well, that's how they control the weather. They don't use it to shoot down missiles. Just
it's not a
tornadoes.
laser, Matt. They've got an airplane flying. And they dump 70 pounds of dry ice.
And then they shoot the laser in it.
Then
They
they
shoot
shoot
the
the
laser into the dry ice. That causes the hurricane. And that's how the Jews control the weather, folks. That's how it happens.
Every fucking time I see dry ice, like I think you said we talked about it before last Halloween,
Yeah.
and we were at a party and there's just dry ice bubbling out, and all I got is fucking Matt's fucking voice, just like changing that weather. God.
But yeah, so then the Iran and Israel have been trading blows back and forth. Donald Trump's trying to play peacemaker. It's not going very well. Gives him a deadline. He said, we got 2 weeks to make a deal. And then he goes ahead and pulls the trigger 48 hours into that so-called 14-day grace period or whatever. Knocks the shit out of their nuclear sites. Undetermined how much damage occurred, but Donald Trump claims it was totally obliterated. Who the fuck knows?
I don't know if that's true or not, but it was so funny. They had some like retired general on CNBC or something, somebody in a former administration. They're like, nobody used the word obliteration in a campaign. I'm like, nobody?
Nope, nobody ever.
Like, they didn't say that during a certain event during 1945?
Right.
Like, they've never said it? It was a total, like, technicality argument, but I was like, never. Nobody's ever said that.
Well, but also, like, Trump is not, like, he wasn't quoting somebody. That was his terms, was completely obliterated.
Oh no, they were stating that no mission would ever say that.
Right, but that's not what he was saying. This was Donald Trump saying it. It wasn't somebody in the chain of command. No, it was the commander in chief saying it. Whether that's true or not, Donald Trump does talk a big game a lot.
Yes, he does.
So, who knows? But they dropped 14 of those bunker busters. It was like 30,000 pound bombs. It's the size of a front end loader, just in missile or in bomb shape. Fucking crazy. Turns out we do got some cool shit.
Well, and like even if it's not obliterated, I'm starting to think that they intentionally were not to cool the waters. It was almost like an Iranian kind of thing where it's like we got a safe face here, so we're gonna shoot at you, but not with our best shot. You know what I mean?
Right. It's kind of like what we did with them. Like we really tipped our hand of what was going to happen.
Oh, that's never been U.S. policy, tipping hands, is it?
It's funny. That was one part where I liked when they were doing their after action report, and they talked about how it was completely undetected. And like, no, it wasn't. Everybody knew that the B-2s were being moved over there. If you'd been following this stuff even remotely closely, you knew that they were moving tanker planes over that direction so they could refuel. So did we know it was coming out of Missouri? Maybe not, but like we roughly knew what was going to happen. And all that being said, the Israelis did a hell of a job knocking out, like, we basically had we did have complete air superiority over Iran. But dude, the coolest thing for me was the fucking submarines launching Tomahawk missiles. Like, that was the one part nobody fucking knew about was the submarine.
I'm telling you, dude, like, Iran fears the United States, but because Israel is the Jewish state, they'll never say this. I think Iran should probably fear Israel more. Because, like, they may not have the strength of the United States, but what? They were taking out, top level scientists.
Well,
and
they
fucking
had
leaders.
drone. They had
Like-
drone manufacturing inside Iran,
Yeah.
which took out a lot of their like air defense systems prior to the Israeli Air Force going, bulls on parade. Yeah, they're no
crafty,
joke.
Bud.
They're no joke.
We thought the pager episode was going to be their coup de grace, but
which leads me to wonder is like, what the fuck is taking so long in Gaza?
Dude, genocide takes time. Matt.
It does take time. It does take time. They're not on an industrial scale like Hitler was. That's what makes them different. They don't have the camps. It's more of a reservation, not a camp.
And it's a Jewish faux pas to enact gas chambers.
It's not a concentration camp. It's a very crowded reservation.
It's a rubble.
It's a rubble factory.
Oh my god!
It was. I did have to kind of laugh. And it's all dark humor. I don't wish ill upon anybody. But,
how the fuck else
except
do you get through this shit?
Except Rob. I wish him to get snubbed by Marjorie Taylor Greene someday. Like get teased to the point of where he's like, I'm in, and then she just like calls him a bitch or something, and then like slaps him and walks away.
Let's. I want to tell the tech story we had for the past couple of days.
Yeah,
Mr. Roberto, our friend apparently. So we were giving Rob shit all day because he just. I'm not a huge fan of Trump, but Rob just hates Trump.
Hates
So
him so much.
me and Matt's goal has been to just go super hyperbole on him, and just I've called Trump the dear leader. I told him, Rob, you should thank Trump for making you safe. So then I get to this thought: what would Rob do to get Trump out of there and impeached? So I threw out a scenario. I was like, Rob, would you toss out Trump if you had to suck his dick twice? Once on the day he's impeached, and then I said, and then on the anniversary you have to suck his dick every day. Would you do it? And he didn't answer.
Did not answer.
Keep on lowering the stakes. I'm like, just suck his dick off twice a day. Would you do it? Nothing. So then finally, MTG, his all-time favorite, I said, Rob, would you do it if MTG gets to viciously just peg you? Viciously peg you.
And that bitch has got some core strength, and she's got cardio. She's a CrossFitter. So
viciously peg you with a brand new dick provided by the government, just a giant one, and he didn't answer.
Huge.
Didn't answer. But then today, I finally pushed him one more time, and what did he say? MTG can do whatever she wants to me with whatever she has. So we've discovered that he can be viciously, brutally pegged, and Trump can still be in office.
Mm-hmm.
He's all for it. We didn't even have to put the Trump out of office.
No. I bet if Large Marge is in the picture, he'd be okay with a third Trump term. If he's getting some sort of sexual gratification from Large Marge, he would probably be okay with Trump as lifetime dictator.
She gonna pound that hole till his nips bleed.
Yeah. So then we hit those nuclear bases. No idea for sure how good it worked. And then he said, now's the time for peace. His press conference after we did bomb him was like 2 minutes. It's like the shortest amount of time Trump's ever spoke at any time ever, I think.
Oh, he was pissed.
Yeah.
He was legit pissed.
And then, but then he comes out and he says, "Congratulations, world. It's time for peace." Congratulations, planet world.
You
He
stay
didn't-
classy, planet Earth.
Planet Earth. That's exactly what I pictured when I like, for whatever reason, that one single post made me laugh so fucking hard. It made me laugh so hard. But like this whole thing, like that Medvedev guy from Russia, the guy that was briefly president of Russia.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like that's so weird to me now. Like I always knew Putin would stay in power like behind the scenes, but just after a while he's like, okay, time for you to go. I'm back. Did he take a vacation? Like,
Well,
what
he
was going down?
put him in there as a placeholder while he pushed it through whatever their parliament is called.
The
But
Kremlin.
yeah, the Kremlin. Yeah, once it got passed through there, that set him up to essentially be dictator for life, and then he took back over as president.
Got it.
Like for all that, like he has no problem just murking people, but he's kind of a stickler for the paperwork, because it's like he held elections in all 4 of the oblasts that they're fighting over in Ukraine. They held an election, and like he did it very like proper as far as the paperwork's concerned, like how the process of setting up these or incorporating these regions back into the Russian Federation. He's a stickler for the process.
Not shocking coming from a communist.
No, not at all.
They love their paperwork.
Yeah, exactly. There's always it's very bureaucratic.
Yes.
It's very, very bureaucratic. But yeah, that Medvedev guy was talking shit about like and then essentially just basically openly said that they were enriching uranium for a nuke, which that's the part that gets me, is like, and a lot of the like the anti-war people, they're like, Iran is not pushing for a nuke. Like, yeah, okay, but even you yourself say they have this like 60% enriched uranium, which is,
And yeah, once it gets
only
to 60%, yes.
Yeah, like, because from what I understand, for like nuclear power has to be enriched for like 3 to 5%. And then there's like for medical purposes, whether, I don't know exactly what the usage, but there's it requires like 25% enrichment, whereas fissile material for a nuclear weapon has to be 90%. So they're closer to 90 than they are the 25. I'm like, what exactly are you doing here?
That's a mystery.
And I don't blame them. Everybody that has given up their nuclear program has been invaded, and the leadership toppled.
Look
So
at Ukraine.
like, yeah, I mean Ukraine. There you go. But Libya, look at Gaddafi. He got butt fucked to death by a bayonet. So
he got MTG'd with Robbed.
Oh man, yeah.
Our buddy admitted he wants to be pegged. He did that today.
I think that's exactly what happened.
And you know what? Hey, if you like it, more power to you. But the
No-
last person
judgy.
on earth, I would have admitted that would have been fucking Rob. That was
For
the
real.
last.
Well, I will
should we get
say,
him some MTG shirts, something suggestive of "I like to get pegged" or something.
we should just we should find a picture of her doing some Olympic style lifts, just all sweaty and burly, and just get those printed on a t-shirt for him.
Dude, Power clean in March is probably the just hottest thing on planet Earth. We get
It's very sweaty.
veins popping.
Yeah. Yeah. Forehead prominent.
Uh-huh. What did he?
Prominent.
What did she call Crockett from Texas? What was the name?
Oh,
The insult.
I forget. I forget. There's been that. You notice that hasn't been as much of a thing here lately either. The AOC large Marge spats in the house.
Yeah, because there's other shit going.
Turns out there's a lot of shit going on. Congress, on the other hand, is not doing a goddamn thing. Like they're just
As is par for the course.
They are just 98.6 degree paperweights at this point. that is all they are. They spend a lot of money somehow. I don't know how they spend all the money, or I don't know how it all works, because they haven't passed anything. I think they've passed like 5 bills so far, and one of them was like changing the definition of anti-Semitism to include criticizing the state of Israel or the government of Israel.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
It's a little goofy. I feel
So
like
I found it was what Crockett said to MTG, but you could have her, not deadlift, power cleaning,
mhm.
and at the top put bleach blonde, bad built, butch body, comma,
Nice.
comma, comma.
That's right. Yeah. Did we decide if she was reading off a script or if she just had that queued up at the top of her?
The way she delivered it, that seems like somebody came up with it, or she did, and was just she wanted to land that.
Yeah, I tend to think that, but also, black people are really quick with the roast material. Like they're probably the king. They're probably the best at it when it comes to just roasting people off the top of their head. They're probably the best at it.
It was a slow delivery, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that bitch is dumb. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a rehearsed statement.
Who would win in a debate versus her and Joe Biden currently?
Oh, Jasmine Crockett would run circles around Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if she would win. Like, defining win, because Joe Biden would just be like, ha.
Dude, America would win. That's who'd win that night.
Yeah. So then we got this this ceasefire, which was like Israel had 12 hours, or no, Iran had 12 hours to wrap up their operations. And then Israel had like 12 hours after that and then there was supposed to be there's supposed to be a ceasefire, and they both immediately broke it.
As soon as that happened, I was like, fuck, I'm going to hear from Rob now.
He was the one that sent the article too. I was like, oh, fuck. All right. Yeah. All right. But like, that's still one where like, how do you blame Donald Trump for that? That's just like typical Middle East. Like that's kind of what you expect out of there.
Right. I was living on the technical. I was like, technically it's not here. Technically it's not here.
Yeah. Well, and then it was like, it was kind of a gray area of like when the Iranian bombs were, they landed after the ceasefire, but were they fired before the ceasefire? Right. Were they fired on accident?
And then Israel's like, the distance?
Israel was waiting because they were just like, now we're going like full bulls on parade, and that pissed old Trumpy Bear clean the fuck off. He was
wait. So you're telling me Trump not only saved Rob, but he saved the Iranians.
He did.
Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying that Donald Trump is looking like he might deserve a Nobel Peace Prize. and I say that with all the sarcasm intended, but also not unironically. Like I'm not saying that ironically. He legit kind of deserves the Nobel Peace Prize.
And
if this sticks.
If he got it, wouldn't that be the most American way of winning a Nobel Peace Prize?
Oh, fuck yeah.
You bomb the shit out of somebody, and then you get a Peace Prize.
Yeah.
It'd
be amazing. But, I mean, he should get it strictly for the Pakistan-India deal. Like, he was the one that got that shut down. Remember? That shit was popping off.
I forgot, like, ever since all this shit happened.
That was only like a month ago.
So basically, like, what happened? Did they just say, okay, sorry? And then they just
I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I know Big Dick Don was right in the middle of it. And have you noticed he's been signing off his posts with like, thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah, like what's behind that?
I don't know, but it cracks me up. Just the oddity of it makes it just makes me laugh. There's nothing not funny about that dude.
And for most of like the famous public figures, Twitters, I always assume like, oh yeah, somebody on their team's got to be saying this. But with Trump, I know it's him. Like,
yeah.
It's him. Nobody's doing his Twitter handle. And
no.
It's amazing how much he's actually tweeting while he's the president.
Well,
it was like the comment Rob
for him.
Huh?
He's got somebody that types it out for him, and then he checks it and send it.
It's kind of like Rob's comment to me today when I was shit. Like I see all the stories when I'm shitting.
So
I send you stories. And what did Rob say? He's like, get off of social media.
Get off social media.
Like, I was like, damn, he could have put that to the president too.
Just kind of everybody in general. Get off social media. Unless you're listening to us, then stay on social media.
And just get dumber by the moment.
Death of Fun podcast. Look it up.
And you know what? With all these arguments Rob's bring to us, he could bring that one and be like, yep, Rob, you're absolutely fucking right, dude. Like, he should get the fuck off.
Yep, he should. But also,
but then we wouldn't be entertained.
Not as much. But also, like, can you all the Trump haters? Can you give the motherfucker a win like that? As of right now, I don't think there was any Iranian casualties, because I think we kind of also told them to clear the fuck out because we're taking these out, kind of like they did with when they retaliated against us. Like there's video of troops in Qatar like watching the missiles get shot down.
Yeah,
they're cheering and shit. So like it was a nothing response, but like Trump being like kind of the magnanimous one, be like, all right, you got a safe base. I get it. Where are you gonna hit? Don't hit my guys, or we're gonna have a real fucking problem. And so he just lets them throw their missiles out. Like, yeah, big bully.
What a fucking waste, though.
Oh yeah.
Like the only reason Iran's got to respond the way they do, because if they are shown as weak, their whole fucking population is just going to turn against them.
Yeah. Well, that was also, he was asked about regime change earlier, and he said no. And then he posted on Truth Social about something like "Make Iran Great Again," and he'd mentioned regime change in there. And then he was asked about it. Let me see if I can find that clip, because it was pretty interesting. And he the way he said something was, was very interesting, and it could very well be just a slip of the tongue, but also you never know. Trump talks weird. Yeah, here it is.
Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was, there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos. So we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people, and they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear, but other than that, they should do a great job.
So he said if there was, there was. And that might just be a Trumpism, or maybe there's some, because like I know the Khomeini, the Ayatollah, had named 3 potential successors should he get assassinated.
Doesn't a board of like 3 of them vote on it or some shit
Something like that.
Which is crazy. Like, how'd those guys get that position?
They fucked the goat the best. I honestly, I don't know.
Like for a country where their supreme leader is a man of God, you would think that would be top, but no, there's a panel of 3 people.
Yeah.
Who's on that panel, Matt? No real conspiracy theory.
I think Kanye West is on it, maybe.
Oh shit, that would fit. He doesn't like the Jewish faith either. Okay, go. 1 Kanye.
Kanye.
Mel Gibson. Is Mel Gibson on that?
Well, we got to have like a Queers for Palestine person on there, don't you think?
So then maybe. Oh, you know what?
See, Mel Gibson's a Catholic. Otherwise, I would say yes, but I don't think. Oh, I know the Catholics and the Muslims don't like each other. I mean, that whole crusades and shit.
It's you know what? We're talking about Iran nuclear.
So you
got Kanye West 1.
Yeah.
Then you have number 2, the bald-headed guy who wore dresses, who was part of the U.S. nuclear.
Oh yeah.
What was his title?
He was something at the Department of Energy.
But it was nuclear.
I think it was something to do with the nuclear weapons. I don't.
Boom. 2.
Yeah.
3.
And
you know what? Another conspiracy theory.
Okay.
We know Rob's into something because he's just gone at weird times, and then world events happen, right?
Yeah.
So I would think the third trifecta of like anti-Israel right now would be like a white woman in a suburban setting. Okay.
How about DJ Khaled?
Follow me. The suburban woman is Emily.
Oh. Yeah, but she's Catholic too. So
oh, true. Okay. DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled. I think DJ Khaled, the lipstick, bald-haired goatee guy from Department of Energy, formerly. And then who did we say the other one was?
Kanye West.
Kanye West. That's right.
Wait, why DJ Khaled? Is it strictly based off of how his name sounds?
Oh, I think he's Palestinian.
Oh, really?
I don't know for sure, but I think he's or some branch of Arab, I believe. I don't know for sure. Yeah. So, I think that's probably their supreme council or whatever it is.
Nailed it.
But after Trump flipped his lid on Israel in particular, but he also was pissed off at Iran too. it seems like it's been kind of holding fast. So it's like, all right, well,
We're 2 days into it though. That's what I.
we're 2 days into it, but also that's 2 days longer than it had been for quite some time.
You know what we
So-
should say, Rob, tomorrow? 3 days without an accident, and then like the next day, 4 days without an accident.
3 days without nuclear war.
Oh,
3
I mean-
days without a holy war.
you can put that. You can put that down. You can make that.
Maybe I'll just start making a post every day. Just day 3, days since the last threat of holy war 3.
3 days of no Jewish lasers in the Middle East.
Well, I was hearing. I forget what news show I was listening. Well, it was a podcast, but I forget which one it was. They were talking about how Netanyahu's approval at home has gone up pretty considerably since the Iranian shit popped off, which is kind of surprising because Israel got hit. I wouldn't say hard, but hard enough. Like Iran fucked some shit up over there. Killed, I think they said it was like 29 casualties or 29 dead from the Iranian strikes. The Iranians, on the other hand, that's like 600. So,
Do you think? I was thinking about this other day when it came to numbers. So, like every time something happens in Palestine, they always quote the health authority or something.
Yeah.
And they're just straight up. God, what's the group in Palestine? I feel like so much has gone on Iran. I'm retarded.
Hamas.
So like every time I hear those numbers, I'm like, they're pumping up those numbers to get sympathy. Do you ever think like Israel pumps up the numbers to get sympathy?
Oh yeah,
Or-
all the time.
Or are they more worried about looking weak?
No, because they were really playing the whole Iran is targeting civilians card.
Yeah.
And like, fair enough, but like, have you looked at your reservation over there? Like, or the West Bank where they just like go in and just kick you the fuck out. But like, hey, there's Jews are living here now.
Like, yeah.
So like, I don't know. It's like, okay, fair enough. You got a point, but it's hard to feel bad for you at this point too. You're like,
Too specific, man.
Too specific. So what they were saying is like, now that Netanyahu's popularity has gone up pretty considerably, he might be able to build a better coalition where he's not so beholden to the religious zealots of the Israeli political wing. So like they're like the essentially the Westboro Baptist wing of Judaism.
Oh.
And so like Bezalel Smotrich, which I think is the defense minister, he's a member of the Jewish Power Party.
I heard
And he's also the one that like has been openly calling for ethnic cleansing of Gaza.
I read that name the other day and I had to read it 3 times.
Yeah,
Just to make sure.
the Jewish Power Party.
Jewish Power Party.
Yep.
Yeah, they're talking. There's those memes of like Hitler spinning in his grave because Kanye West is a Nazi. Like,
Yeah,
what
Negroes Heil Hitler.
Is Strom Thurmond just turning in his grave because this new Jewish Power Party?
Possibly. They just didn't tell Joe Biden that there was the Jewish Power Party, or he'd like threatened to fight him. Take you out back and do something.
Do my push-ups first.
Do something. Come get some. Come get some, you dirty heeb.
You know what? Joe Biden's going to be so much fun. from a purely dark humor point of view, like I don't know if you've had anybody who has Alzheimer's. It's very sad.
Oh yeah.
But there are some like things when they get it that are just like because they're just so off the reservation. Some of the shit they say is it's just funny.
Well,
Joe Biden is going to be the funniest Alzheimer patient in history. I feel like the shit that will come out of his mouth will just be pure comedy gold.
Say that from when he had his infamous debate performance, from then till the end of his presidency, that's when I liked him the best, because after they forced him out, which rightfully so, but after that he was like, he stopped giving a fuck. Remember, like he was like he put on the Trump hat at one of those rallies.
Yes.
And like I don't think that was an elderly moment for Biden. I think he was legit having fun there.
And it's hilarious too. That's when Democrats really started questioning him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that was probably the most sane thing to do, is just to stick it in your party's eye, wear this fucking piece of memorabilia that just disgusts the whole establishment.
Well, their entire party has essentially equivocated it to being a Klan hood, you know, and so for him to put it on while his vice president is out campaigning to beat that guy, it was just mwah. It was beautiful.
He may be losing his mind, but he still knows how to talk shit.
He had a lucid moment right there. And like, say what you will about Biden, I think he was a kind of a giant corrupt piece of shit, but he had some legit political talent back when his brain worked properly. He also had several brain surgeries too, which people, you know, didn't like to bring up. Like he'd had I think 2 different brain surgeries before.
Oh, did he really?
He was president, yeah.
How recent was that?
I'm not for sure, but you know, if we've learned anything about modern medicine, is sometimes shit pops up way down the road. But also it was just like all you had to do was go back like 3 years and listen to one of his speeches and like, oh fuck, that's not the same guy. You know, it was pretty clear. But hey, I was saying it in 2019 because so were the Democrats during the primary debates. What's his name? Jake Tapper had no clue.
But now he's selling a book about it.
Oh, that motherfucker. Brazen. The fucking balls on that guy.
The fucking balls, dude.
Like I halfway respect the grift. I halfway respect it, but also fuck you, bitch. That douchebag. Like he went after, I think it was Laura Trump. Like, oh, you are in no position to diagnose somebody's mental capacities. Okay, dude. Okay, now you're writing a book about it.
Well,
and the cover up, you were part of the fucking cover up.
Well, now I'm starting to see like Trump trip down going up the stairs, like one time.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, it's mental acuity."
Oh yeah, they're just waiting to use that. They're dying to use it. But then you listen to him speak, and you're like, "Yeah, the guy's still there." Like, and he's all over the place too. Like, motherfucker's been busy.
Well, and like, even if he is going downhill, those people have no say in saying it. No. They covered that shit. They denied that shit for so fucking long.
Oh, yeah.
So long.
Actively covered it up. Remember cheap fakes? Those are cheap fakes.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't say that they were actual fakes. They called them cheap fakes.
To commemorate him, can you pull up the video of him farting?
Of Biden farting?
Yeah, when what was he? When he was at some, I don't know, at some event and he like just shit himself?
Oh, that's
your
at
favorite
Normandy.
video of all time? Normandy.
That was the one at Normandy.
Oh, Uncle Joe Pop. And I don't know, how did Saturday Night Live not just live on that? I feel like they should have gone full George W. Bush, how they did on him, with Joe Biden.
I know.
So that was from earlier, and this is live now.
No, that's not.
There we go. Videos like that too.
There it is.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin.
Is that where he did it?
I think so. Look at that.
Just shoot his pants.
There it is.
Distinguished guests, please welcome.
Look at Jill. She's like, oh, God, Joe. Oh, don't sit in it.
I got
Don't
poop
sit
in my
in
pants.
Honorable Lloyd J. Austin.
Oh man, that's Tom's boy.
That poor old bastard. Like legit elder abuse. Fucking
Jill
God.
Jill Biden. I feel like she's coming off as just kind of the wife hanging on to the rich husband, and she just beats him with the phone book. You know?
I think so, and I think that's what it's always been. Yeah,
wasn't she their nanny before his wife died or some shit like that?
I think
that
you're thinking of the son, because Hunter went ahead and took care of Beau Biden's wife after he died.
Let me research. Talk amongst yourselves.
I think she got addicted to crack because of him too, if I'm not mistaken. Real interesting family, that Biden clan. Real interesting.
I'm reading about Jill Biden.
Is anything good? What size of tits she got?
Oh, okay. That one got me. The Post claimed Joe Biden began dating Jill when she was their teenage babysitter, claiming she was underage of consent at the time. The derogatory post can be seen here, and here. Posts were flagged as part of Facebook's effort to combat misinformation. Joe Biden's first wife, well, they haven't negated that she was a nanny yet. So Neela Hunter, whom he married in 1966, was killed in a car crash 1972, along with the 13-month-old daughter Naomi, leaving Joe to carry his two young sons, Beau and Hunter. Neela died. Joe Biden and Jill started dating in March of 1975. Okay, so not
March of 1975.
Not like how they made it out to seem like, oh, Jill Biden was watching our kids, and then my wife dies, and then we get married. So, okay, my bad.
All right,
no,
well.
You know what? I was wrong. Uncle Corn Pop is outstanding. He's a genuine, good human being.
Something like that. He's something like that. I gotta say though, like he was kind of a legitimate political talent in his time. He was useful enough that they plugged him in as vice president and then dragged his carcass across the line and probably cheated to get him over the line as president. So, but yeah, by the time he was president, goddamn, his brain was fried. Quite clearly so. And like, what is it about the hatred of Trump that caused them to just completely and I'm not talking about the people in power, but the anti-Trump voters, like the very virulent anti-Trumpers, like just completely overlook the fact that you're voting for a corpse.
It's you know what it is? It's like that's the playbook, I feel like, from now on. Ever since George W. Bush, who, you know, as we've gone on, like George Bush, I kind of lost a lot of respect for him. But we did vote for him when we were 20. Whatever. Yep. But that's when the playbook started, where like you treat your opponent like a Nazi. You know, you treat the Republican, whoever is the front runner, you just treat him like a Nazi. Even if he has a win, you don't concede that win. And I feel like that. I'd be curious to see what the next go round looks like. But on top of that, I don't think even 20 years from now, if Trump's still alive, they're not going to do a 180 like they did on Bush. There's no way.
No, I don't think so. But also, like that whole sequence. So, like, you know, I was graduating college when Obama was elected, and that was mostly because of the Iraq War, like almost exclusively because of the Iraq War. And what did he do? Well, he went and started like 2 more. Once he got in power, and
Matt, he didn't bomb anybody.
No, didn't bomb anybody himself. He let those drones do it a lot.
Okay, so that's when we were arguing back and forth about Obama bombing way more in other countries than his logic was. Well, they didn't have nukes.
Right. Well, then he also said it was that Trump was indiscriminate, and what else did he say? I was like, well, that was actually like highly targeted.
Well, actually. And the balls of a lawyer who lives off of technicalities.
It
doesn't matter to the law.
Yeah.
What type of weapons they have. It's the same circumstance. It's the same. I was like, I'm not going to win this argument. This is so ridiculous that I point this out and Rob would just not answer the rest of the day. So I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it today. Not today, Matt.
So we have bombed Somalia like 46 times this year.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing in this day and age? Countries get bombed all the time, and we have no clue.
No fucking clue.
No fucking clue.
Times we've bombed Somalia this year. And is there any outrage about that? Not even a peep. Not a peep.
Nothing.
Like, not even from Ilhan Omar, who is Somalian.
Really? Yeah, that would be the first person who would say something.
I've not heard anything from her. But Iran, which granted, Iran's the most legitimate military in the Middle East outside of Israel and probably Jordan. We give them a lot of money to Jordan too. But I mean, I think Israel kind of neutered them on at least on the air superiority side, which they had F-14s that they bought from us. Isn't that the crazy shit?
The F-14. Yeah.
Which like was what that was the airplane that in the original Top Gun.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, been around a while, a little bit outdated. I don't know what they had as on like the Soviet era stuff or Russian, like newer Russian stuff. I don't know if they were that friendly with Russia at the time.
It doesn't look like they, for all these pacts that Russia and China have with Iran. Like, I'm not really seeing either Iran or China and, well, I don't believe this, but either China and Russia don't have cool shit, or they're not sharing it with them. Even Putin the other day was like, hey, you know what? We're 100% behind you, but we're not going to do anything. Like, it was like your coach.
Yep, pretty much. But I mean, to be fair, Russia's kind of got their hands full.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think
Uh,
China's just watching this and taking notes. You know, they're
Yeah.
watching. That was my conspiracy theory, was like China nudged Iran a little bit, and so all of our fleet got away from Taiwan.
Mm,
And I was like, watch Taiwan. Good thing Trump. Look at that. Trump saved Rob, the
Yep.
Iranians, and Taiwan.
yep.
Man,
And yeah, so there was all sorts of conspiracy theories floating around, or like predictions from like the hardcore anti-Semite crowd, that so the aircraft carrier group that we sent over there, we already had one in the in the Red Sea, but we sent the Nimitz, which is set to be decommissioned after this. So they're like, just watch, Israel's gonna do a false flag attack on the Nimitz, and that's gonna draw us into war with Iran. And like, well, I would far more easily believe that it would be our own government that does that, not Israel. But also, it's a wild one, but
yeah.
there's a non-zero chance that it happens. You know, I wouldn't say it's a high likelihood, but
it's not like, only crazy governmental shit happens under Democrats.
right.
You know, like both sides, fucking something weird just fucking happens.
So like, if you take the Watergate deal at its face value, you had a shady Republican president. I happen to think that while Nixon was kind of a shady Republican president, he was also set up by his shady, mostly Republican CIA, and George H.W. Bush, and they used that whole deal to get Nixon out of there, because what was he trying to do in the Vietnam War? That's what he ran on. And he also won re-election in the biggest landslide ever, which is crazy. He was about to be, was he impeached in the House, and then he resigned before they took it up in the Senate? Is that how that worked?
I think so.
But that was like directly after being reelected in wasn't it like a 49 state landslide?
Yeah, but also on that too, just knowing Nixon, he was so paranoid. But yeah, to your point, yes, I could believe that. I could believe him being paranoid.
Right.
Like it's nothing is unbelievable to me.
Speaking of paranoid, I brought this up the other day, and I think it's pretty apt for the situation. But I'm starting to view the nation of Israel like a paranoid schizophrenic. Like they're
WebMD.com, just checking it every day.
Yeah, well, they're all, and rightfully so, I suppose, or like understandably so. Like they're essentially an ethno state. I know there's Palestinian Arabs there, and there's non-Jewish citizens in Israel, but it's by and large kind of an ethno state of Jews. And they're, after the Holocaust, they rightfully became incredibly paranoid. They were pretty paranoid before, because, or especially the European Jews, because they had been kicked out of pretty much every country in Europe at some point.
Yeah.
And had some pretty horrific violent attacks on them. Then you have the Nazis. Pretty rough time for the Jews. And then they go back to the homeland, kick out a bunch of Arabs that have been living there for a couple thousand years, and start this new state. And then that whole kicking out the Arab parts never really got resolved. And here we are today, just, generation after generation of blood hatred, and like paranoia. And I feel like they're way too quick to attack everything. And look over the past year and a half after they got attacked on that October 7th attack. They have invaded parts of Syria, Lebanon. They've bombed Syria, Lebanon, obliterated Gaza. They've taken over pretty good chunks of the West Bank. They've bombed Yemen and now Iran, and probably some bases in Iraq too, or some targets in Iraq too, if I had to guess. But it's like 6 different countries that they've fucked with in the past 2 years. And so they're and then they're pushing for regime change in Iran too. And you're like, oh, okay, but
who's going next?
Right. And that's worked so well for us in the past. Like it's worked so well.
Can you imagine if after World War II, we just located the Jews here? I don't think there had been nearly as... I'm sure there would have been problems, but I don't think there would be nearly as many problems.
How many people were living in Madagascar at the time? Because that was Hitler's original plan.
That was... You know who came up with that plan?
Was that Himmler?
No, it was Dietrich Heydrich.
Reinhard Heydrich?
Yes, the second in command. And remember, we talked a while ago. I was watching and reading everything on just the Third Reich. Like, that's the one guy I'm glad, or maybe there's somebody watching over, that he died when he did, because that dude was psychotic. He was the smartest of the bunch. He was the most ruthless. He fought in a couple of the air battles while he was like in high command. Like, the German people would have followed him anywhere, and he was smart. Like, I'm glad that dude got taken out. But yeah, it was his idea, and it just wasn't feasible. But that was his idea.
And I think it wasn't feasible because they didn't have the Navy to get him there. Like,
well, and then like risking, going.
Well, because they didn't control the Suez, and they didn't control the Mediterranean. Yep. They would have had the Brits not bombed the French fleet, because they were about to just commandeer the French Navy, and the Brits sunk it. And so the outside of essentially U-boats, the Germans have never really had a navy.
They had what Hitler wanted to focus in on, like destroyers, because it was just majestic looking, and they send out the biggest destroyer, the Bismarck, on like the first mission, and it gets fucking taken out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was it's kind of funny when you when you take the whole genocide part out. Like, I know that's hard to do. But like, separate that part, because that's a whole different deal. But like, militarily, like, you understand where Hitler was coming from. They got starved out in World War I. Not only the army, but the population was starving as well. And that was the whole reason for the Lebensraum, was to move east, conquer Ukraine, because that's the breadbasket of Europe and most of Africa. And then also he wanted to keep the Brits out of it, because they had the best navy, and the Brits were the ones that blockaded them in World War I. So all of that stuff makes very, very good sense rationally. Then you throw the racialism in there, and plus the meth and the cocaine and the hormones.
After that dude did want to take over Europe.
Oh yeah, he did.
Dude totally wanted to take over Europe.
Yep.
Would he wasn't an altruistic dictator?
No, he was not a benevolent dictator. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say so. I did watch a big long. It was like a 10 or 12 part documentary series, and it was for the most part like neo-Nazi propaganda. Really portrayed Hitler in a good light.
Hold on. How did you purchase this?
No, it's on the internet.
Oh, okay. You're on a list now, Matt.
Probably so.
You know what? You should put up your profile picture for the next 2 weeks. Your Ancestry.com saying you're Anastasia.
See, but I'm more Ashkenazi. German. I'm more German than I am Ashkenazi Jew, though. So that's. I don't know.
And you're Mexican. Dude, they're gonna kick your ass out of this country so quick.
Well, there was that Mexican white supremacist here a while back. Remember that? Wasn't he part of a shooting or something? I don't remember. There was Mexican Nazis, and so I guess I could. Yeah, I'm on the list. That's all there is to it. I'm not a Nazi, but I can't prove that I'm not a Nazi because I can't at least go by race because I'm more German than I am. I'm more German than I am Jew, and then there's I know that I've seen cases of Mexican Nazis, so I'm just like fuck. I can't prove it that way. So,
I mean, the Nazis did escape to Spanish-speaking nations.
They did. Yeah, Argentina's got like full Bavarian villages.
It does.
Yeah, it's no joke. My one of my former bosses was from Argentina, and yeah, he said there's these little villages up in the mountains that looks like you're just dropped in, like the Sound of Music type type German villages.
Very Hitler Youth looking schools. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I watched that whole. It was called like Battle Europa, and it was interesting. It was a well done documentary, I think, for the most part. Like it looked like a real documentary, but it was it was real. They were real keen on Adolf Hitler and very skeptical, shall we say, about the Holocaust. Very not big fan of the Jews. But it was interesting. Like I said, I didn't come away agreeing with a ton of their stuff, but also like I don't know. It's like when Rob will argue with us about Putin being a complete moron. I'm like, no, he's not. Like
that's what got us here is underestimating these guys.
Right. Well, and also overestimating people at the same time. Like
yes.
Like they made Putin out to be this big boogeyman, and but also just kind of a dumb Russian, just dumb idiot Russian. Call me fuck, and you're like, well, he's actually very cold, calculating, intelligent, like fairly brilliant. Not fairly, but like incredibly brilliant man.
Well, it's just like Hitler was terrible. But nobody fucking talks about Pol Pot. Nobody talks about fucking Stalin. Nobody talks about
particularly Mao. Stalin. It's like, did Hitler have to go? Yeah, probably. I think so. Yeah, I'd say so. But also, I'm not a big. I mean, we funded the Soviet Union to the tunes of millions of dollars and millions of their dead. We kind of let the Russians take the brunt of the German war machine in World War II. And
we're just the bank, Matt.
Yeah.
The bank doesn't get the hands dirty.
But then we also kind of help build them into an industrial nation as well. And hey, it was convenient for like Eisenhower warned about it back in the day. It was very convenient for the for the war machine because hey, we got another enemy to fight. We can't let them beat us. And ratcheted it up for another, how long was it? 50 years of the Cold War, essentially.
But, let's see, what really started to heat up at like 48.
Yeah, it was like 48 to 88.
90.
So
89 the wall came, or
yeah, so 40 something years.
yeah.
Call it 40 years, give or take, 45 somewhere.
Oh man, I'm fading, dog.
All right. Well, any predictions for this peace deal in the Middle East? Did Trump fix the Middle East?
Well, I don't know, but all I do know is if tomorrow the ceasefire is still there, that's 3 days.
3 days since
an
the
accident.
last threat of a holy war.
3 days since a Armageddon apocalypse.
Yeah.
Without.
Yeah. 3 days without an Armageddon threat. Awesome. Well, congratulations, world.
Oh, women.
3 days of peace. Huge. All right. That's been the Death of Fun. We'll see ya.